What is up, gamers? Are you ready to crank the settings to max and dominate the latest AAA titles? Because today, we're diving into the most ERS of the mobile world, the 5 best RTX 4080 gaming laptops in 2024. RTX 4080 graphics means stunning visuals, silky smooth frame rates, and the power to handle anything you throw at it. But with so many options, picking the right one can be brutal. Fear not, my friends. We've spent weeks testing, benchmarking, and battling our way through these beasts to bring you the ultimate showdown. Links and prices will be included in the description. So grab your favorite gaming fuel, settle in, and get ready to find your perfect portable powerhouse. Here are the top contenders. 5. Asus ROG Zephyrus G14. Big screen laptops are great, but if you're interested in something petite and easy to put under your arm, then the Zephyrus G14 is it. With just a 14-inch screen, this thing is absolutely tiny, at 7.7 inches thick, and with a weight of only 3.79 pounds. We're wondering how they managed to fit an RTX 4090 in here. But have an RTX 4090 it does. And while it does suffer from similar heat issues like the other thin laptop, it's still a pretty amazing thing to have in such a small package. Another nice thing to see is that it comes with an AMD Ryzen 9 7940HS CPU, something that's pretty rare with RTX 4090s. So if you're a fan of AMD CPUs, you're in luck. For everybody else, the Ryzen 9 7940HS is a high-end processor equivalent to the other i9s on this list, and is a little bit more efficient and cheaper, which we're sure Asus took advantage of when configuring this laptop. Either way, you aren't going to find much that's going to phase it, and it will handle high-end tasks similar to the other laptops, from video editing to music production. 4. MSI Stealth 17. While an 18-inch screen is great, it can be a bit big for some people, so going for a middle ground of 17 inches, like with the MSI Stealth 17, is a good idea. Also, one big positive of the Stealth 17 is that it's also pretty thin, and while it can somewhat compete with the Zephyrus M16 on that front, it's still a bit of a heavy laptop at 6.17 pounds. That's not as bad as the Alienware M18, and makes it slightly more portable, especially since it's easier to find bags that fit 17-inch laptops than 18-inch laptops, which are rather rare. As for hardware, it's much the same as previous options, with an Intel Core i9-13900H and 2 TB of storage to work with, although you get a much larger 64 GB of DDR5 RAM to work with. And if you do a lot of CAD or 3D modeling, that will certainly help. The 17-inch screen is also pretty great for that sort of work, and the QHD resolution combined with the 240Hz refresh rate will give you a smooth experience whether you're doing modeling or graphical rendering and video editing. Also, the screen also has mini LED backlighting, which means better overall contrast due to more controlled local dimming. 3. Alienware M18. There's very little point in having a high-end GPU if you aren't going to be enjoying it with a big screen, which is why we really like this Alienware M18, which can take advantage of the higher 2560x1600 resolution. It can also hit an impressive 165Hz refresh rate, which you're more likely to hit than the higher 240Hz. That said, it is an option for this laptop that has a 1080p screen with a whopping 480Hz refresh rate that's made for those who play competitive esports games and want that extra edge. It's probably not a surprise that this comes with an Intel Core i9-13980HX, given how expensive and high-end this gaming laptop is. It's worth noting that with this CPU, and the fact that the screen can hit 100% of the DCI-P3 gamut, this is a solid option for those who want to do graphical editing and rendering or video editing. The CPU is also pretty great for music production, and while we probably wouldn't lug around the 8.90-pound weight around to gigs, it works well for use at home. 2. Asus ROG Zephyrus M16. Finding a gaming laptop that has one of the best GPUs in the market while also being thin and light is very difficult, and yet the Zephyrus M16 manages to hit both the GPU and the small size and form. At just 0.78 inches thick, it's probably one of the thinnest laptops on the list, and the overall design is very minimalist, also making it a bit more compact and good-looking. Practically, it can fit into pretty much any environment without somebody thinking you're playing one of the best gaming laptops you can get. As for other specs, you get a similarly excellent Intel Core i9-13900H, which can handle pretty much most tasks and games you throw at it without too much worry, although we should touch upon the issue of thermal throttling. While it doesn't affect the CPU as much, this tiny chassis means that the RTX 4090 can't run at its full power draw and defaults to 85 watts, and while it can be boosted to 150 watts, it runs much hotter and louder. This has gotten a bit better since the laptop first came out, but really, it is something to consider when investing in the Zephyrus M16. 1. Alienware M16. Alienware is one of the most well-known names in the gaming laptop space, so it's probably no surprise to see them at the top of this list with this Alienware M16, which is an excellent choice if you want something that balances specs versus price. Along with the RTX 4090, this configuration comes with the Intel Core i9-13900HX, one of the best CPUs on the market that won't cause any sort of bottlenecks with the RTX 4090. Not only that, but it's a good option if you want to stream to YouTube or Twitch, since it will be able to handle both the game and the transcoding. In terms of screens, you have a couple of different options, but we opted for the best of the best since the RTX 4090 can handle it pretty well. You get a 16-inch screen with a 2560x1600 resolution, so just a bit better than your typical 1440p, and it means you get the superior 16:10 aspect ratio, at least for gaming. It can also hit a very impressive 240Hz refresh rate, and while you'll likely get relatively close, you might have to compromise on some graphical settings if you want to hit that sort of refresh rate. Alright folks, that's it for our deep dives. We've explored the MSI Titan 18HX, the king of raw power, the Razer Blade 14, 2024, the epitome of portable performance, and we still have 2 more amazing contenders to come in the next episode. Did you have a favorite so far? Let us know in the comments below. What features are most important to you in an RTX 4080 laptop? Hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and subscribe for the next episode where we declare the champion. Until then, stay frosty and game on.